I am back so soon. It's been like 5 seconds since my last video. I am off today, so I'm not doing coaching, I'm not doing nursing. This is my relaxation day, and I am gonna go on a walk. I'm gonna chill after this video, but when I get inspiration and when I get like a pull to post something on social media, I run with it. I have pretty good boundaries with it now. That's a different story, but um, yeah, so I wanted to come back. We talked about, in the last couple of videos that I've done recently, we've talked about over caretaking, over caregiving, and I want to bring the pendulum to the other side of it, um, to under caregiving, because that's a thing. If we block ourselves off too much as caregivers or as people who care about other people in any kind of capacity or are empathetic or highly sensitive or of any kind of these traits that can kind of naturally pull us into other people's stories and want to save people, protect people, things like that. Um, it can be easy to swing to the other side of things and under caregive, where you put so many boundaries up. You like harden your own heart, so like no one can actually get in. Um, your channels of connection can be really severed. Whether it's you're afraid of getting hurt, you have taken responsibility for other people in the past and it's been a shit show, like whatever it is for you, that has caused the pendulum to swing the other direction to under caregiving. I want to talk about coming back to center as a caregiving type person and what I do to come back to center, because my work involves, like, genuinely all I do is caregive all day as a nurse, as a trauma informed life coach. It's like what I think about all day. I think about how I can best care for people. I take courses, trainings all the time. I also teach yoga, a very yin style based yoga that's very relaxing and meditative. And I teach meditation as well. So it's like all of these different facets, all of these channels of caregiving. And I've become quite freaking good at maintaining or creating some good boundaries so that I actually like my life as well, and that my energy isn't being just like siphoned out, um, caregiving or over caregiving, to all the people that I do hold a caring space for. So, first and foremost, in my coaching practice, a primary thing that has just been so helpful for me and for my clients is to maintain the vision of their highest self, is what I like to call it. You can call it all types of different things: best self, most realized self, most enlightened self, self who has the things they want and is the person they want to be in the world, highest self, yeah, whatever you want to call it. So, as a coach, I work in present and past terms in like a trauma way, of course, and how trauma has affected your life now. That is what I'm interested in, is how the past informs how you live now. And that's really what I'm concerned with when it comes with the past, when it comes to the past. But as a coach, I am mostly focused on the future for you. I'm focused on, okay, you're at this point now. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What are your goals that you feel like you don't have the confidence to go after, that you really want in your life? Where are you stuck? Where are you holding yourself back? Where are you feeling held back? How can we organize your life in a way that fits what you want more and where you want to be more, instead of just like going through life, going through the motions, just existing, but not really feeling fulfilled, or like you're doing work you love, or not feeling the feelings you want to feel, all of the things. So I forget exactly where I was heading with that, but yeah, the first thing is the highest self vision. Me maintaining your highest self vision, even when you are getting pulled into your stories and your past and your trauma and the heaviness and the things that have happened to you and how it's showing up in your life today and how it's making you feel. I'm always coming back to this place in my head where I'm not getting pulled into your stories. I'm actively listening. I'm holding very strong, safe space for you, but I'm not getting pulled into your stories. And I hope that kind of makes sense. And it's not that they're just stories that aren't like valid or like real. It's all real, it's all very important. And this is why I'm like actively listening and holding the space and like letting you speak and feel safe and feel seen and heard and like cared for. God. But it's like I'm not getting pulled into the drama. Like when you're with a friend and you're just hanging out, you're talking, talking about things in your life or like dramas that have happened or things that you feel, there can almost be this like more flowing into each other's stories thing that's happening where the boundaries are perhaps a bit looser, and perhaps that's what's needed in the friendship at that time, or whatever it may be. As a coach, there is a strong boundary that I have around getting pulled into the story. Like I'm holding a very strong space for you to tell your story, but I'm not personally identifying or being pulled into it. I'm maintaining this sense of your highest self. I kind of like imagine it as like a timeline collapse where your highest self is like already in the room with us, the version of yourself who already has all of the things that they want and feels the way they want to feel. And kind of like communicating with that part of you. It's a very interesting process. It's very deep. It's like on some very intuitive and deep levels. But yeah, there's that going on where I'm always like, okay, like pretty much speaking through your highest version of yourself, the person who already has all of those things and who is that person, right? Does that make sense? It's like transmitting through. That's really important. Number one, the ways that I kind of prepare myself before sessions sometimes, or sometimes I take like one day when I do this for all of my clients, is I go into like a meditation, or I do some kind of ritual with like candles and tarot cards and like music or whatever, and I envision each of my clients' highest self, and I really anchor that in to my body too, so that when I show up for the session, I'm like, bitch, I already know who you are. Like I already have it anchored into my body. You are this person, and we're just moving you slowly to connecting with that person that you already are, in like a timeline collapse sense. So I have very messy notes here. Heart focused breathing, something we talked about in the previous videos recently. It's just a little thing I learned recently. It's just so simple. Like there's so many breathing techniques and meditative techniques that I've learned throughout my life. This one is very simple, and it's like a trauma informed care type thing. Where I, as the practitioner, am just coming back to myself momentarily, just checking in with myself throughout the session. So I am not getting so pulled into the client's story that I'm identifying with the story so much that my emotions are being swayed by their story, because I'm holding their vision of their highest self. But I'm coming back to myself and noticing, okay, let's come back. Let's hold the space, hold the space, hold the space. And imagining I'm breathing out through my heart and in through my heart, like finding that connection and that association. So that helps me prevent like depletion in sessions as well. If I'm coming back to myself and I'm working with my own body while I'm working with my clients, you know, emotions and with their own body and whatever we're dealing with at that moment. It's the second thing. Um, I am a very visual person. I work, I, I say the sentence like I work on, on or in emotional and visual realms where I connect emotions to visuals is just how my brain works. So how I organize information and how I, um, you know, come up with things in my head or I get through things or I prevent depletion or prevent like over identification or over caregiving is I do a lot of meditation outside of my sessions, and just on my own time, you know, my free time and stuff is I do all kinds of visualization meditations, whether it's I'm cutting cords, where I'm like, I imagine I'm cutting like physical cords between people, but I'm creating a cord of light. So it's like not as physical. Like to me, this makes sense in my head. Like, obviously, make it make sense for you, whatever practices like you want to do in this way. These are just like some ideas, but instead of instead of visualizing it like a very physical cord, I visualize it as like being replaced with like a cord of light. And that feels way lighter to me. Like it feels way better in my body to imagine that it's not like these heavy cords that are connecting me to people. It's like these cords of light. And like I love that visual. Um, Many other visualization meditations that I do to kind of like create a again like a wall of light between me and my clients or me and anyone that I'm like taking care of, a wall of light instead of like a thick like brick wall or something in my head, and instead of nothing at all, no walls, all channels open. You know, there has to be some kind of, for me, visual boundary that I can conjure when I feel like maybe I am getting over identified or over caregiving. So I like kind of like the wall of light where, yeah, some things can flow through, some things can't get through. It's kind of like porous, but I'm in control of it. So, yeah, that's another thing. The next thing is nature. Nature is so grounding for me. So I really try in between client sessions on the days that I'm coaching to take walks outside, to just, yeah, breathe and look at the plants, look at the greenery, commune with the trees, hug some trees, take doggies on a walk, things like that. Really important. I imagine that the trees are protecting me. I imagine that I am being infused by their energy. All kinds of magical, witchy things go on out there. So, next are mantras, affirmations. One that I love is nothing has gone wrong. And this is a really important one for me personally because in sessions, people can get triggered. It's part of the coaching process. As a trauma informed coach, everything comes up and everything is allowed in the space, you know, holding that safe space for people to go into memories that feel unsafe and kind of like maintaining that safe space for people. Nothing has gone wrong is really important for me because I noticed when I first started coaching, when someone would get triggered or it was a really hard session and, you know, we only have an hour, and by the end of the session, I feel like they aren't in a good state or like the trajectory of the session went like maybe I had an idea, and I talked about this in the previous video like 5 minutes ago, or 10 minutes ago or so, that like bringing your work with you after the book has closed, after the session has ended. And I would do this if a session didn't go in a way that I thought it should. And how I thought it should go is to pull people out of discomfort, is to like save people, to like over caregive, to over identify and be overly responsible for their feelings of comfort when that's just not, that's not how it is. Working through trauma is very uncomfortable at times. At times, it can actually be fun. At times it can be interesting, it can be enlightening, it can be beautiful, but at other times it's very uncomfortable, it's very scary, it is very fucked up. And you can run through the gamut of emotion, and it's really important for me to allow for discomfort and like very deep levels of discomfort. And instead of trying to pull people out of that discomfort, because that was like a pattern throughout my past, is like not being able to handle when people are uncomfortable, still working on it. In a coaching space, I've become way better at it. And in my life, I'm becoming better at it. But the acknowledgement that we as humans are going to have uncomfortable, hard emotions, and it's going to come with healing things like trauma or working through things like trauma. So, nothing has gone wrong is a mantra that I started to repeat to myself after I was noticing over identifying with someone getting off a call and just like noticing that, oh God, like I hope they're okay. I hope I didn't say the wrong thing. I hope, you know, and just like wanting to reach out to them throughout the week, and like, yeah, just the over caregiving thing, the over responsibility. And every time they've been fine. Every time it's like you have to give people space to work through their stuff. And again, discomfort is a part of the coaching process as a trauma coach. Nothing has gone wrong. And yeah, just whatever mantras, whatever affirmations work. I work a lot in trust. Like because I've anchored in my client's highest self, there's a level of trust in the process that they will get there in time. Like as it makes sense for them, as they start to shift their perceptions, as we go through the coaching process, there's a trust that it's all part of it, that everything that they go through, everything that comes up, everything that we talk through is exactly how it should be, and it's part of the process. So that's really, really important. I like can't emphasize that enough. Trust. Next is having fun and laughing and relaxing after coaching sessions. This can be hard for me. This can definitely be hard for me. But getting better at it and just really kind of like mirroring back to you the importance of having fun. Like if you're anything like me, healing can be like a full-time thing, and we can identify as just being in a space of heal. We can become overly identified with healing, where it's like nothing's actually broken, there's nothing to be fixed, and we're just in a loop of healing and like victimhood and trying to get ourselves out of discomfort instead of just letting ourselves be in discomfort and then have fun. Like knowing that being with the emotions actually allow us to move through them way quicker, and then we can just have fun. So I feel like, yeah, you know, what is life? What are we even doing if we are not enjoying ourselves? It's really important. Having fun, laughing, relaxing. I love to be silly. I love to laugh. I love to listen to comedy. I love to be weird, and encourage you to do the same. So the last thing, which is like infused in kind of all the other things I said, or a bunch of the other things I said, is like just sending that person a lot of love through the ether, through, you know, wherever, whatever the practice is, praying, meditating, thinking about people. Like I do think my spiritual beliefs are my own, but something that I do believe is like sending energy to people is really beautiful. And yeah, I love just like expanding my love for people and thinking about them and sending them energetic love. So I hope that was helpful. That's just kind of how I have found my way to center when it comes to over caregiving or under caregiving, swinging through those pendulums, coming to this place of centeredness in myself where I can let go of hard, sessions, conversations, while creating just a lot of space for those people, holding their higher self in mind all the time, heart focused breathing, um, those visualization meditations, mantras, having fun, laughing, going into nature. And the last thing that I forgot to mention in my messy notes is the somatic aspect of it. Shaking off, shaking your body like animals after they get away from almost being attacked. Shaking your body, or like when dogs get wet and they shake their bodies. Dancing, shaking, bringing it into the body is a really, really useful tool to kind of like develop those boundaries and come back to yourself as well. So, yeah, hope this was helpful and talk soon.